and they start to ask for their favorite beverage, which it was the gin. Here no one knows what it was, the gin.
Hello and welcome to Best Sips Worldwide. I'm your drinking companion, Susan Schwartz, an American travel writer living in London. Thanks to my mother's love of martinis, the first words I spoke were shaken, not stirred, and I've been obsessed by the history of cocktails ever since. Through the years, I've been lucky enough to sip some of the best made by the best. Hear that sound? It's time to cozy up to the bar and let me introduce you to the movers and shakers of the world's most famous watering holes. History has taught us that nothing good has ever come out of imperialism. Can I beg to differ just this once? If it weren't for the British taking Menorca in the 1700s, we would have never had the Pomada, my favorite summer drink at the moment. Our guest today, Maria Teixidor, gives us a quick lesson on how and why Mahon Gin Xoriguer is different from any other, thanks to the British soldier and Menorcan ingenuity.
What happened that this harbor, it was one of the biggest natural harbors in the Mediterranean, and the English used it to make commerce, and they stopped here a lot of soldiers, and also the Dutch been here in this.
Oh, the Dutch were here too.
Were here too, and they start to ask for their favorite beverage, which it was the gin. Here no one knows what it was, the gin. But they started, they wanted gin, so the artisans from here decided to do gin.
Mm-hmm. So now it's a long history.
Yes, it's a long history, more or less, 300 or more of 300, around 350 years. So they were very clever and decided to do gin, but they had a big problem because here there was any of the raw materials that they need to do it. Mm. So they had to went out of the island and bring from the Catalan Pyrenees the juniper berries.
Oh,
because
of course.
Here there are no juniper berries. They can be alive. They can get life here because it's so hot. And another problem, they haven't alcohol, grain alcohol, they haven't. So they started with vinic alcohol from the Mediterranean Sea, from the places that they make wine around the Mediterranean. And they started to make gin. And there, at this time, it was born the first recipe of the gin. Mm-hmm. And they started to sell here, and there are more or less 4 or 5 little distilleries around the harbor, and they sell a lot of gin. The English, the sovereign English finished, but the gin stayed here.
So the Menorcans started to like it themselves and drink
yes.
it.
And until nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was, I call it our national drink from the island, no? Because everyone has gin at home, and every celebration we drink gin with lemonade or with alone or with soda, but it's an important drink here.
And you said it's made with grapes that they got from the mainland or
yes.
other Mediterranean islands. Or do they have now grapes here that they use? Is the
no,
production here?
We are still bringing from Barcelona.
The grapes?
Yes,
because
that's called vinic. It's alcohol vinic with mixed it with alcohol from agricultural origin.
All right, so it's because usually gin is with vodka. Well, a grain alcohol.
Yeah, it is grain.
So this is different from any other gin that I've heard of.
Yes, it is.
That is made with a grape.
It's made with
the from the origins of a grape.
See, from the origins of the grape, and mix it with alcohol of agricultural origin.
And you still junipers are from the Catalonia?
Yes,
as well.
We still do it. Once, maybe 12 years ago, or more or less, it wasn't enough at the Pyrenees. So we have to look around Europe to find, and we bring from the eastern countries, and they were really different.
Oh, funny.
They were really small. They don't have oil. They were very dry, and we don't use it because we try once, and the gin has another flavor, another taste. So we don't use it. We have to look for Spain for the juniper berries.
And your company has been here how long?
Well, this company was born in 1945. It's a curious history because Miguel Pons Justo, the fundator of this company, was working in another distillery. There were more or less 4 or 5 distilleries around the island at this time, and he was working at one in the harbor too, which was just maybe 400 meters along this way, and it was called Fornero. This distillery, it was more or less the best one, but one day they had a copper still which was not working properly, so they decided to have a look what happened there, no? And in the stills there is gas, no? And it was an accident because they couldn't see properly what it happens there, and they make light.
Oh no.
And they go, all of them.
How terrible.
You see, there were 3 or 4 people died, and the owner too. So Miguel Pons Justo was the countman from there, and he lost his work because the family decided to close. So he was at the street with nothing to do, and he went to this family and asked them if he could continue with the tradition of making gin. And they gave permission, but they don't give the receipt.
Oh.
But he was very clever because he was the countman, and he knew it. He knew all the ingredients, all the things that they buy and what they use.
And he just had to put it together in a recipe.
And he tried. People say that more or less he tried maybe 6-7 months to get a perfect gin.
And they would never tell him the recipe?
No, they never tell. But he
figured it out.
He knew all because he knew every week we use.
Right. Was the accountant. He
yes,
would know everything, right?
Where they buy the raw materials, how many they use. So he tried it.
And 6 months later he had
a good gin. And he went to Ciudadela with a barrel of gin and giving to the people to try. And people said, "Wow, what's this? From where it was? It's very nice. It's very good, no?" And they say the man from Xoriguer, because Xoriguer is the name of the windmill. The family has a windmill, and this windmill is called Xoriguer. And the people said, "Is the man from Xoriguer?" And he said, "That's the name of the brand." And in 1945 is the first document that we have that they started to produce, not at home, trying, if not to produce seriously the gin. Now, until nowadays.
He knew his market research He did his market research by asking all those people to try it. It was really smart.
Yes, he was really smart.
And so where is the history, or what is the tradition of having the gin with the lemon juice, pomada?
With the pomada.
Is that an old tradition, or is that something new that he thought of?
It's not so old. I don't know exactly in which date it started, but it started when, because gin was a short drink and quickly. People used to go to the bar, ask for a gin, drink, and go home.
Kind of your morning, instead of orange juice, you have some gin.
But this changed along the years, because also women started to go to the bars, and it's very strong for women, so they had to change the way of serve the gin, no? And they mixed it with soda, with lemon, and also the people went to the bar normally to speak and share conversations. So you need a long drink for this.
Some ice and something else to put in it. Right.
And more or less at this time started the pomada, and all the places in the fiesta of Menorca, everybody drinks pomada.
And I had one for the first time last night. Do you do the distillation here?
Yes, we do. We have 4 copper stills downstairs.
4,
Yes, there is one which it comes from the distillery that I told you before, the Fornero one, and it comes from France, and it has more or less 200 years. There are one which is a new one, it has maybe 75 years, and the 2 of the back, they have around 100 years or more or less.
Always distilling here in Menorca.
Yes, they distill more or less 3 days a week or 4 days a week, every week.
And how many bottles do you make a year?
600,000 liters, because one day is more or less 3,000 liters.
Okay.
It's 2,900 and something, no? One day of production. The 4. Sometimes we use 3 days, and sometimes we use 4 or 5. We have, in summer, maybe sometimes we have to do 5 days a week.
And then you have your recipe, and you get the wine and you just distill it with the junipers and everything together.
We put the alcohol, the juniper berries, and water in the still, and we use wood, like for making the fire. It's completely natural. You will see it when we go downstairs. You can see this. And they start at 8 o'clock, and more or less at 9 o'clock it starts to blow up the first gin until more or less 3-4 o'clock of the afternoon.
And then it's ready to drink. Now you've made me so thirsty, so let's go have some.
Okay.
Thanks so much to Maria, who converted me to gin made with something other than grain. Of course, the cocktail of the week has to be the pomada I've been talking so much about. So, to bring some sun into your life, take any glass and fill it with ice. Then, depending on how big your glass is, add more or less 50 mLs or 1.5 ounces of Mahon Gin Xoriguer. Then top up with fresh lemonade and garnish with a lemon. Then get right back to the beach. Next up, we venture back in time before gin had come to Menorca. We were in Holland then, and it was called Gin Xoriguer. We'll speak with Michael Mann, the UK brand ambassador for both Bols Gin Xoriguer and Galliano, the Italian liqueur, as well as Jess Milley, the Canadian bartender who just won the Bols World Championship 2017 with her cocktail entitled Still Life. Until next time, bottoms up. For more information and links to everything you've heard about, plus a bit more, please visit bestbitsworldwide.com. Thanks for listening to Best Sips Worldwide, a spin-off of Best Bits Worldwide. Always remember the wise words of Oscar Wilde: all things in moderation, including moderation, and never drink and drive. Okay, I said that last part. Theme music is by Steven Shapiro and used with permission. You'll find me at the bar